Okay, guys, so we have reached the end of our Newton's first law lesson. We're going to go over the last two questions from the last video, and this is where you have to apply if these situations have balanced or unbalanced forces acting on it. Okay, so number one, we have a force of 50 that's being applied to the box to the right. And then we have friction that is happening in the opposite direction. Why? Because we're going against friction. Where we look at the numbers, we have 50 newtons of friction and 50 newtons of the applied force. But when those are applying on the box in opposite directions, that box is not going to move because they're both pushing with the same force, same amount of force. Now, number two, we have a man that's standing on the floor, and I'm going to use my bottle to demonstrate. His weight pushes on the floor, and the normal force from the floor pushes him upward. So normal force is just that supporting force from the surface to the object. Well, if you see here, my object is not sinking down and it's not levitating in the air. So therefore, the normal force and the weight, which is also gravity, they're equal. So this is balance. Immediately jumping out the plane, Maria is accelerating towards the ground. Here's the key word, accelerating. That means when Maria is jumping out this plane, her speed is increasing as she is falling to the ground. Well, if we have a change in speed, if we are accelerating, that is an unbalanced force. The same thing for a car that is coasting down the hill. It's going down the hill. Gravity is applying that force to make that car continue down the hill. If you roll a ball down the hill, if you roll down the hill, you should also feel your speed increasing as you go towards the bottom. That is an unbalanced force. Here, next question. An object has twice as much mass as another object. So that first object also has twice as much as, what did we talk about today? Inertia. The bigger your object, or the bigger the mass, the bigger the inertia, the bigger the resistance to change its motion. Okay? So your exit ticket for today, you will have to upload a video demonstrating Newton's first law. And if you don't have anybody to demonstrate with, or you don't have supplies, like from the first video that had demonstrations, or you can record yourself. You can record yourself explaining Newton's first law if you don't have supplies, or if you don't have other people at home who can demonstrate for you. But you need to have some type of file uploaded if you want to receive credit for this entire lesson for today. Also, it's a question from earlier in the lesson where you have to type in your answers. I need you to type in your answer if you want to receive full credit for today's lesson. So Newton's first law, just to recap, is also known as the law of inertia. We're looking at how balanced forces play a part with Newton's first law. So balanced forces can either be an object not moving, or an object that's moving with the same speed at each time point. Okay. If your forces are unbalanced, then you will see your object accelerate, or the speed will increase, or the speed will decrease. You will look at unbalanced forces happening on the object with Newton's second law. Okay, so thankfully there's no math for this lesson. It's all concepts, and it's all to just understand Newton's first law, the law of inertia, and how inertia is the object or us resisting any change in motion unless we have that unbalanced force acting on it.